Hey, y'all. I am, of course, super excited to introduce our next guest and the perfect person to kick off the summer learning series, I have to say. Honored
I
to
rarely
have
get
with
described
me
as the perfect person.
the perfect person, the perfect teacher, I should say, to kick things off for us today. I have the fabulous, the world renowned Jon Corippo. Thank you so much for joining me,
Hello,
Jon.
hello. Oh my gosh. As soon as I saw your email, like, who wants to do a thing? I was like, if Casey's doing a thing, I'm doing a thing. So we were immediately like, I had this vision. And I love what you said most people are just doing something like that's one of their great classics. But I said, no, no, no. We're going to do this. We're going to do this.
Yeah, no,
And,
I
and
have
we
to give you
came.
so much credit. I think, are one of the hardest working people in education. I feel like you are always out there you're in classrooms, you're with teachers, you are traveling the world, you are helping people all over and then still managing to write and publish all these books and doing all these things and having life and barbecue outside of that. So that's an amazing accomplishment. But I'm honored that you're here, and I'm honored that you decided to do something original for me. Like I said, I know I'm asking for your time and asking you to share with the Shake Up Learning community today, but Jon's like, "No, Casey, I want you to hit me with the hard stuff. We're going to do something fun today." So, instead of doing a canned presentation, which I tell you, I know this cuz I do this too. Like,
Yeah,
we have a list. We
we
have
have classics.
presentations we
It's
can do on the
normal.
fly.
Yeah.
But
Like
no,
if you go
not
see Taylor
Jon.
Swift, you're going to get certain songs, right? This is the
your
deal.
your playlist.
Yep, yep. Hey, make sure you hit share screen real quick and I'll get my
Okay.
screen going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the do you want I need to give you permission, don't I?
Yeah, co-host is great though. I
I
don't I can't
didn't
handle the pressure of being a host.
I didn't do that. I knew I forgot something. It's been a while since I've
So while Casey's processing, what I did was I sent her an email and I said, I want you to give me 5 hard problems. Like make them hard. Make it like real life teacher hard problems. And she sent me some doozies.
Okay,
and
see if you can share now.
and then for the record, Casey, I haven't told you this yet. I built this
Uh-oh.
whole what you guys are going to see right now. I built this all in about 45 minutes.
Oh, don't tell me that. You're making me feel so bad when it takes me so long.
Yeah, I did this in about 45 minutes, and it was because of the things I've done in the past. It was actually really, really simple. Which sounds, I don't want to make it sound sad, but when you adopt a certain mindset, think of your grandma. When you say, "Grandma, we need something in the kitchen," she doesn't hurry, but she's done so fast, and that's because of all those reps she's got.
You're the
So
grandma of education. Is that
I'm
what
the
you just
grandma.
said?
Yeah, edgy grandma. That's my new hashtag.
Edgy grandma. I
So,
love it.
so first things first, everybody. I want to make sure that's my email, and you're going to want to keep that. J
And keep
Carippo.
in mind, some people may be listening, so you may want to read that
Yeah.
one aloud if you want
So
it out there.
J, letter J, Corippo at Gmail. And keep that handy because we're going to be going a little fast today. And if we go too fast, you can send me an email and say, hey, this thing that you said was super exciting, but I don't get it. So I will walk you through that nights and weekends. And
Okay,
then,
well, we'll tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we jump into this.
oh, that's what
There
this
may
slide
be
is.
like two
They
people
can't
who don't know
see.
who you are.
Yeah, they can't see this slide, but this slide says teach better, work less, and that's who I am.
That's who you
When
are.
I started teaching in about 1997, I immediately fell in love with it. Like the third day, and I was like, oh my god, this is what I do for a living. But then I started doing the work, and I was like, two things. I can't work every weekend. I can't do this for the rest of my life. Um, which ironically now I do it all the time. And then the second piece is I'm not getting the big results I'm looking for. So if you haven't heard of Eduprotocols, our mantra is teach better and work less. Now, a little bit about me. Started as a 31-year-old third career teacher. I'd already done 3 of the things. Did that for a few years, maybe 10. got to go to work for a county office here in the Central Valley of California. Did that for a couple of years. Got a chance. I don't even think you know this, Casey. I got I got a chance to open a high school from scratch, like in a district that had never had a high school. So
Oh
there
wow.
was no group of people telling us you can't do it because they had no idea what we were up to. And so that was fascinating. And that really um, powered my pedagogical approach because I realized if I didn't give teachers a very clear way to do the new thing, they would keep doing the old thing because it was safe. And here's my favorite analogy. If I say, let's go out for coffee, I'm gonna let that sit there for a second. Let's go out for coffee. Not many people go, Denny's, can't wait. Oh, we're going for coffee. Let's go to AM PM. No, people are thinking Starbucks. They're thinking Pete's. They're thinking cute little local place. And we have that same problem in teaching. When I say I'm a teacher, people say, "Oh, you hand out worksheets and you make kids be quiet." And that is not what teaching is anymore. So when I opened the high school, we had a chance to hire all these people. We handpicked them all, and then they went right back to teaching the old way. And I was like, oh, we told everybody we want to be project based and we want to be kid centric, but they did not have a construct for that. So anyways, did that for a while, then went to Mariposa County office. I was the assistant soup up there. And if you don't know where Mariposa is, it has a thing called Yosemite inside. So that was pretty fun to be like the assistant soup of Yosemite National Park, educationally speaking. Fun fact, there is a K-6 school in Yosemite Valley that's like 400 yards from Yosemite Falls. Nobody knows where it is, but it's totally there. And then went to work for Q, which you're a Texas person, so we used to say that Q is like the TCEA of California. And I did that for about 2 years, and I was doing just fine. And I was on my way back from Australia from a gig I did there, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I fired myself. I realized what I want to do is pedagogy. And I think you and I are on the same track, Casey. Like, I don't want to deal with HR. I don't want to deal with school boards. I don't want to deal with, I want to talk to teachers about how to teach better. And I want to maximize my skill set. So I literally went back to the classroom right in the middle of COVID, 2020, 21, and freaking loved it. I mean, I had all these new tools and new ideas and did them. Not everything worked, but all the ones that worked really well. And then I started getting all these requests for professional development. Hey, can you meet with my team next week? Hey, can you fly out to so and so? Can you fly here? And I was like, okay. And then within 1 year, my side hustle turned into my full time. So that's a little bit about me. We've written six. We've got 6 books right now. The primary edition just came out. The ELA edition is right on its heels, and check it out. The ELA edition is AI ready.
All right.
So
I'm
every
the
chapter
ELA
has
teacher, so
all the and Jacob Carr is writing it. He's magnificent, and he's really good at AI stuff, and he's invented a whole bunch of new protocols.
and when did
And
the first book come out?
we're coming up on just almost to year 6. Like we're at like year 5.4. So
You're
it's
just
been
you're cranking
not
them
very
out.
long, really, though. Like
No, you're
not very
cranking them
long.
out, dude.
So we sold about 60,000, which frankly I never thought we'd sell over 1,000. And then now we do a thing called Eduprotocols Plus, where people can sign up and we kick out new protocols every month. And this is one of our little things that we did that's different though. It's lifetime pricing. You pay once for your whole life, one time for your whole life. So that's been really
Awesome.
really cool to do. And yeah, I'm ready to get into it
Yeah.
whenever you are. So
Yeah, let's stump John.
yeah, here we go. So, and then a couple more little startups. Remember, free lifetime tech support. Letter J, CORIPPO at gmail.com. And I will answer on nights and weekends. Not a problem. Not a problem. And then a couple of little thoughts before we get started here. We have to remember confirmation bias. Casey, I'm sure you've heard of this term before, right? So I always like to think of it like predator prey relationships. If I have a laser and a cat, I know what's going to happen, right? That cat's going to chase that laser. If I have a dog and a frisbee, I know what's going to happen. And so what happens with confirmation bias is people tend to look up things that reinforce their perspective. And the problem with that is it doesn't lead to the change in the behavior that the teacher has. So one of the things I want people to do when they're listening is I want you to encourage yourselves to say, maybe there's a better way, because I'm here to tell you there is. And I'm going to share my classroom data at the end. The next thing is this is a great quote from my friend Janelle Carroll on Twitter, formerly called Twitter. Um, it says, even in schools that have made a commitment to deeper learning, the dominant mode of instruction involves teachers telling students content with the students being bored and disengaged. And shout out to my friend Ray Dunn down in Moreno Valley. She said, I call it silent, sustained staring. And kids get credited for being quiet in class. And then when they get to be eighth, ninth, 10th graders and they're not doing anything, we forget that people have been telling them to sit down and be quiet for the last 7 years, and they have finally embraced our our requests. And then so basically this one is a big giant circle that says where the magic happens, and a little bitty circle that says your comfort zone, and they're not attached. If you want better results, you have to change what you do. In programming, they call it garbage in, garbage out. And if you think you're going to stand in front of the classroom and entertain kids with your knowledge about the history of the Visigoths, you are wrong. They are not entertained. Okay. So, again, as we get started on Casey's scenarios here, we've got to give a chance to look at the other possibilities that we don't think about. So listen up with an open mind, and here comes the first one, Casey. All right. Oh, and I love you updated your picture, but did you like how I did that? So
Yeah,
there's a fun
that was
picture
a
of
pretty
Casey
old one.
pointing.
I put a newer one in there.
It was all I could find on Google Images. So Casey's pointing, and it says, I hate lesson planning. This is the scenario she gave me. I hate lesson planning. I have 35 kids, 20 with IEPs, 3 who won't do anything. How do I create a lesson and differentiate for those kids and get those 3 that never participate actually doing something? Oh, and I have to delicately teach them about the Holocaust tomorrow in all caps. Go. So Casey literally sent me this, and I did not look at it until yesterday. Everything that I'm going to show you guys that I built in about 40 minutes. Okay. And I basically built what could be several days of lesson plans that quickly. So
40
the
minutes
first
for
thing,
5 different scenarios, though,
right,
right?
right, 40 minutes for
Yeah,
all
not
the
just this
scenarios.
one.
Yeah, and I like that you're an active listener that way. So, okay, the first one, the first thing I'm going to do with these guys is I'm going to read this quote back. How do I differentiate? Now, some people think differentiate means every kid gets a different assignment, which means 4 workbooks and 4 teachers editions and 4 different sets. No, that's not what it means. I'm holding out my cell phone right now, Casey. Cell phones are differentiated. Everybody basically uses the same phone. Sorry if you're an Android or an Apple person. It's basically the same metaphor, right? And so differentiation means maybe my font is bigger because my eyes are getting old. Maybe I do speech to text because I can't see the little letters. Differentiation doesn't mean everybody gets something different. Differentiation means I'm designing tasks that all the different people can do. That's the first thing. The next thing is the kids who never do anything. Those kids have chosen to look lazy rather than stupid. And they are making a conscious choice of doing nothing because they would prefer to not look like they're a big dummy. They're out of sorts. They don't know what to do. So, what I've got to do in my classroom, and I start with the bar real low and real simple. So, we're going to start with one called the Fast and the Curious. And we're going to do, and again, for the folks that are just listening, we're basically going to do the same plan every day. We're going to give a quiz, we're going to give feedback, and then we're going to give the quiz again. So this is great for things like Latin roots, times tables. But I'm going to get the non-workers. It's going to be safer to work than not to work. Does that make sense, Casey? It's so easy, and there's no risk. And what I love about GimKit and BlueKit and WordWall and 99 Math is kids can play over and over again. They can play over and over again with no penalty, because what we're going to do is we're going to work the daily score up until Friday. And so by Friday, what I want is a weekly goal of 93% for the whole class. So if you haven't seen this one, Casey, here's how I'm going to start my Holocaust lesson. I'm going to do vocabulary in a tool called WordWall. Have you seen WordWall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wordwall.net is a tool that allows kids to take vocab words like ration and decide where it goes, food allowance for one day. Harbor, it can put all these little different things: concealed, resistance, exasperated, burial, sabotage. So these are some of the key words kids will need to know for our Holocaust unit. But again, to give people a visual, WordWall is kind of like Candy Crush for academics. Kids can drag all the things around and then they can hit show answers and they get immediate feedback. So I don't stand in front of them and tell them the vocabulary. I go like this: there's a new link in Classroom. Play it over and over again. Work with a friend. So the energy is super positive and there's no fail points. So by doing this, we've worked in the word ration, lighthearted, concealed, resistance, exasperated, tormenting, burial, defiant. We're working in the vocabulary words they're going to need during the week. By the way, I didn't make the quiz. I just went to WordWall and I went to the community and I searched and I found one that I thought would be accessible. Okay, so that's the first part of our lesson. The
And
second,
everybody teaches vocabulary. Like
everybody
this,
teaches vocabulary.
it doesn't
And
matter what you're teaching. Everybody teaches this.
this is the your comfort zone where the magic happens. So your comfort zone is to hand out a crossword or a word search or a fill in the blank. The kids hate that activity. They're going to cheat on it. They're going to throw it away. They're going to fake lose it. That generates phone calls for you to parents, all that stuff. So I'm not going to give them that chance. I'm just going to go like this. Here's 12 words. Go. And then they're going to say, but I only got two right. And I'm going to say, look at the right answers and sort. And think about it this way, Casey. If I'm doing a crossword, that's what level am I on Bloom's? It's pretty low. But if I'm sorting things into piles, now I'm moving up because I'm seeing those interrelations. And next, now we've got some vocab words, but now we need to learn about like what the Holocaust is. So this is one of my. If you're a younger teacher, don't be offended. Ducksters is amazing for this stuff. Ducksters, it looks like 1997 took the internet back. It's not super visually pleasing, but it has these nice little one-page articles on anything. So what I can count on Ducksters is, because you said we need to cover the Holocaust delicately, right? So we don't want to offend any parties in this, and it's gotten to be a lot more sophisticated conversation lately. So what I want to do is stick to the facts. So now we're going to do an Eduprotocol parafly. And in a parafly, what happens is I'm going to take a chunk of text, about 3 or 4 sentences, and I'm going to tell the kids, hey, jump into Socrative and rewrite this in your own words. And the reason it's called parafly, Casey, is because it's paraphrasing on the fly. So we're going to go paragraph 1. And this one, if you can't see the visual, is what was it? And it says, like, the Holocaust was one of the most terrible events in human history and occurred during World War II. So I have my kids rewriting this in a parafly format in a free tool called Socrative. And then we look at how did they do? Which ones look like they really copied it and which ones look like they wrote it? So the next little paragraph here in Ducksters, why did the Nazis do it? Hitler hated the Jewish people and blamed them for Germany losing World War I, blah, blah, blah. So now I have my kids write the second paragraph. And the key to this for the non-workers is they see everybody working right now. And everybody's going to get feedback right now. So what we'll do in Parafly, Casey, is I'll do these 2 or 3 times this week, but we'll do about 3 paragraphs, and the kids have to put them in their own words. They have to restate these 3 paragraphs. And on the 4th paragraph, what they do is I say, write a summary about what you've learned today. And guess what I'm setting them up for, Casey? 5-paragraph report. Haha. I save that summary every day until we've got 5 of them. And then everything I do in Socrative comes back as a spreadsheet. So I can just email them all their 5 paragraphs. Now we run them through Grammarly or AI. We add a few pictures. Boom, 5-paragraph report done. So that'll take a couple days to finish. And then the next protocol that I'm going to use in this case is called a cyber sandwich, which is kind of our version of the good old think, pair, share. And so a cyber sandwich goes like this. I'm going to put 2 students in a group. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put two students in a group. So we're already social. They're going to get 5 slides. I'm going to give them a source, and they're going to do this: read, compare, talk, and write. And the key part of this, though, Casey, is the part that's unique and different is I'm going to have the kids reading this, what I call cold turkey. That's a term from the 70s. Um, I'm not going to give them a build up. I'm just going to give them something to read, take notes, and then they're going to compare their notes with a friend. And it's really powerful because kids are used to us telling them what's going to be in the story. They are so dependent on the pre read, they don't know how to read. And then the second piece is I'll say, give me 5 important facts. And the kids will literally say this, Casey, which facts are important? And I go, bro, that is the question of the day. That is your problem. I'm not going to tell you what's important. And so I'm going to share an example here, and this is in the slides that we'll share. This is the cyber sandwich created by my friend, Dr. Scott Petrie. And so what he did is really interesting. He's got a lot of non-white students, right? He's got a lot of children of color in his classroom. So he thought, wow, the Holocaust is kind of a Western European white person thing. How can I make it more relevant to my kids? So what he did was he made himself a little iron chef here about Dr. Feng Shan Ho, and he gave his kids 4 different documents to read. And then he talks about Irene Gut Opdike and the 4 people that he's selected, Gilberto Bosques Saldivar, he's given each of his students a couple of documents to look through. And the 4th one, Colonel Jose Arturo Castellanos Contreras. These are 4 people, non-white people, that assisted Jewish people in escaping and taking care of them. So his point was, let's make it more relevant. Now, Scott doesn't do this as a lecture. He gives 1 kid in each group a person to research. And if you look here on the right, there's document A, B, C, D. And then the final piece is the kids have to talk together about which person deserves an ADL Courage to Care award. And so it's a really different approach to this because it's very kid centered. Now, if we were doing something on another aspect of World War II tomorrow, maybe we would do the scientists of the Manhattan Project. Maybe we would do 4 German or Japanese generals and their behaviors in the war. So the cool part of this is the cyber sandwich works the same every day. So kids don't get loaded up with cognitive load. And then here's the bottom line here. Note taking from student 1, and the next slide, note taken from student 2, and the next slide. And then what they do is they compare. Never say Venn diagram, Casey. Once you say Venn diagram, the kids, you'll lose them. So I just say compare. And then the final piece is to write a paragraph nominating their person for a Courage to Care award. Now, again, the speed of this is really, really cool because I'm going to use the exact same template tomorrow, but I could switch it to Medal of Honor winners. I could switch it to, different personalities. I can have 2 German and 2 American generals from a certain battle. So I'm going to use that same template day in and day out. And then I'm going to wrap up in what we call a fast and curious and a rack and stack. Now I went over to GimKit. And again, one of the things I see, Casey, is so many teachers, I'll show them GimKit or Blookit or any of these tools. And you know what the first thing they say is, can I make my own quizzes? And I'm like, you could, but I'm going to give you your weekend back because all I did was I went in and searched Holocaust. Look, I even spelled it wrong in the example. That's funny. And I still came up with them. What does the word Holocaust mean? Who was the leader of the Nazi Party? How many people were killed in the Holocaust? Who did Hitler blame? So this is going to be in one period, Casey. We're going to go to word wall. We're going to do a cyber sandwich and a parafly, and then a different fast and curious to end up the class period. And there's my first answer.
That's fantastic. I really do love this. I think we could have spent our entire time together just on this one answer, going into each one. I love that you are using these tools, that you are giving kids autonomy in this process, which I think is so important, that we've gotten to a point where
overstructure it.
hand holding and
Hmm.
spoon feeding, and we think there's no other way, that we're not entrusting our kids to step up to the plate in some respects. So I really appreciate that. I think this is fabulous, and this came from a personal experience myself, because I had to teach the Holocaust unit,
Hmm.
and that was a tough topic, and you couldn't approach it like everything else, and obviously in today's climate, you
Right.
definitely
Even in the
can't
last
approach it
5 months, it's a whole new
right,
animal, which is back
right,
to my point, which is you can't just keep doing the same Holocaust unit. You have got to adjust with our current zeitgeist. Like, what's
exactly.
the state of the world?
I mean, like, all the ideas, like I can't do a comic strip about the Holocaust. Like
Right.
there's
All of a
certain
sudden,
there's certain appropriations that we have, and topics that we have to keep a little bit of a different perspective of how we approach these things. So I just wanted to commend you on your delicate approach to answering that question. So,
well, and for any younger teachers that are listening, anything you've got to do like this, keep your personal views out of it. Let's just talk facts, right? We just talk facts. The facts are this, and then look at the resources, and then look at primary sources, and then point out that was what was going on at that time. And in some cases, we know things, differently in the future. But the reality, this is the scenario, and all of a sudden, like when I see in the news that a teacher did a slave scenario, bad idea. When I see people that have done like, um, there's a group of people that are going to be uncomfortable if you act out any religious activity. It can be Catholic or Muslim. So let's just stick with the facts. What do they believe? What is their history? Just stick with the facts. You don't need to do all these simulations, and things like that. It's going to get you in trouble. But if you teach the facts and you teach that there are multiple entry points and perspectives, then you're fine. All right, next one. This one might be almost as hard. I'm going to let you read this one, Casey.
okay. I have 3 Chromebooks, 2 iPads, and 1 teacher laptop. How do I get my class of 29 fifth graders to demonstrate their learning about fractions using technology?
I love this one because the teachers that tell me this in real life, and there's not a lot anymore, but they're still out there.
Yeah, they're
They
still
are
out there.
so ready to wave the white flag of worksheets because of this scenario. So I'm going to blow this up right now. So if you remember from our last lesson, we did Fast and Curious, which again, Blue Kit, Gim Kit, Word Wall, quizzes, Kahoot. Apparently Kahoot's got some new upgrades. So what we do is one quick repetition, immediate feedback, and then one more quick repetition. Now, I already said one mistake people make is they go into BlueKit and they make their own quiz. Okay, search the term first. People go into GimKit and they make their own quiz. Search the term first. Do you think, Casey, that there are any GimKits made on the periodic table? I feel like there are 47,000, right? So then the first time savings is I'm not making quizzes, I'm co-opting other people's quizzes. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I find other people's quizzes, they give me new ideas. I go, oh, I never thought about this way. And that's a very interesting change up. Okay, so we're going to do 3 minutes, 1 minute feedback, and then 3 minutes. That's the mix for Fast and Curious. Now, this is the part we're going to blow your mind, Casey. Does every kid need a computer? No, they don't. I took this picture myself, if you guys can't see it. Look at all those kids. In the old days, and when I say the old days, the late 90s, Casey, did we not used to do this? Hold up your paddle. Answers for group 4. We would put kids in groups of 4 or 5, and they would hold up their answer like a game show. Just put the iPad 1 per 6. I've done as big as 1 per 6. And then you do it like this. Everybody's going to take turns answering, but everybody can coach them. And now, just like that, 5 devices for 30 kids is not a problem. We have this construct that 1-to-1 means always 1-to-1. And Casey, I've been going all over the place doing this. I'll take a class that's 1-to-1 and I'll say do rock, paper, scissors. One time only, no best of 5. The loser keeps their laptop. The winner closes theirs. So now instead of 30 laptops, I have 15 laptops. And I go, you're going to play together. Oh my gosh. It's so loud because they're talking to each other. No, that's 14. No, that's 7. They get really into it. So that's the first easy fix. One
Yes.
device per table. In fact, I had a school district that said, John, you can't come down next week. I was going to a school district and it was all scheduled out. And I said, why not? And they said, we don't have internet, so you can't come. And I go, do you think not having internet's going to stop me? So we just did that. I'm at a high school. I go, get your phones out, log into GimKit. Everybody's fine. It's fine. And then when we're done, I said, put your phones away. We're going to use paper. It was fine. There's no big deal. All right, next.
Wait. Can I back up on one thing? Because I
Yep.
did purposely give you this part of the question
Oh,
because
I felt your secret plan.
oh
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know there was
Well,
more to this.
and it is a much better situation, but also I have felt the shift to one, maybe to our detriment,
Yeah.
that we are now
It's
isolating
computer
kids
as
more,
babysitter. How about that?
not doing the collaborative work, not getting into
Mm-hmm.
the things,
Mm-hmm.
and that in
Mm-hmm.
some respects that these one to few is
Yep.
actually a better scenario for teaching
I
strategies. So
agree. I agree.
I felt like that is something important to think
And
about.
and fun fact, Casey, I'll do a round of Fast and Curious, and going back to slide 28, I'll do a round of Fast and Curious where every kid has their computer, right? And those kids will do 250 problems. And every kid has a computer. I will put them in a 1 to 2 scenario, and I'm going to tell you right now the pattern is on the second round with half as many laptops, I'm getting zero point 0.9 same amount of answers. So with half as many laptops, I'm getting 210 answers instead of 250. So it's still possible to do a lot of stuff. Now I'm going to throw you a curveball. Watch this. We're going to do a Frere model about what were we learning about? Fractions. We're going to do a Frere model on some fractions. And if people don't know what a Frere model is, it's just 4 quadrants. And you can represent the fraction 4 ways, which is multiple representations, which is great for number set. And so I might say, make an equation, show it with pies, show it on a number line, right? Whatever those 4 are. Now, you asked me for a 1 to computer scenario, right? So we're going to do this on paper, but watch this, Casey. Here's the cool part. One person per group is going to open up Padlet. One person per group is going to open up Padlet. Okay. And this is what Padlet looks like. There's a little plus down in the bottom. And then we're going to click on the plus and it's going to say more attachment types. And when it says it, there's a button that says camera. So I want you to visualize this. One computer, one kid goes, show me your Frere. All the kids are showing, they're snapping a picture of the 5 Freres in their class, in their group. So guess what? They did the work on paper, but they're submitting them on the internet. Does that make sense? Now,
Mm-hmm.
why is that a big deal? I'm going to tell you why that's a big deal. Your question was, how can they show what they know using technology? So watch this. Every kid has taken a picture of their Frere, which means all 30 Freres are in Padlet. And I don't know if you've seen this button. You're pretty on it, Casey, but watch this button right here. Padlet has added this recently. See that arrow? It makes all 30 of those Padlet entries that look kind of like a Pinterest, it makes it into a slideshow, just like
Awesome.
that. Now I go like this. Every student, we're getting ready to look at your Frere. Tell us the most important part. Ready, go. Boom, 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 boom. Every kid shares using technology, but they did the work on paper. Whatcha?
And
How do
math
you like
teachers
that?
love that.
Yeah, yeah. And so why is that important? Instant accountability. And everybody can see that everybody worked, which is reinforcing the idea that we're all going to work. See, the problem with handing papers in is there's 5 kids like me who don't hand their paper. Okay. And they get away with it. And then they tell their friend, and now you have 7 people not handing your papers in. And for the teacher, it's a double loss because number one, the work is not getting done, yada, yada, yada. But the other problem is all that missing work is going to mean I have to call parents with bad news. And that wrecks my nights and weekends. And it puts me in a bad position with the kids and the parents. So I'm going to ensure everybody does all their work every day. And here's what I love about this, Casey. If you're working, if you're honestly trying, you have to grow. if you're honestly trying, even if you're doing it wrong, but if you're trying and you're getting feedback, you have to grow. So that was our second scenario.
Love it.
And again, just a couple of flicks of the wrist, problem solved. Okay, next one.
Is this a magic wand that you walk around with, Jon?
Yes, it is. It's called knowledge.
Knowledge. Okay, number 3. I have to lecture,
I
but these
have
kids
to.
won't. I have
I
to.
got it. I got a lecture.
Okay, and I will say this comes deeply from the secondary world. Lecture is the only way, but these kids will
Yes.
not listen. The only way to teach is whole group. I need a PowerPoint about the causes of World War I with lots of bullets to keep them on their toes.
Yes, and I love the part that you said lots of bullets because nothing makes a presentation worse than lots of bullets. Now, I'm going to do this one teppanyaki style, real time. So
Okay, here we
I'm going
go.
to show off a little Curipod. Have you seen Curipod, Casey?
Just a tiny bit, yes.
Okay, so Curipod's free, and if you can see it here on the screen, there's all these generators and tools. Curipod is somewhat like it is reminiscent of Nearpod and Pear Deck, and there's the pod part. But I'm going to open it up right now, and I'm only using the free version. Curipod.com. Casey, it's going to use AI to build my slide deck. So watch this. And I'll try and point out things because for our people that are listening, I'll try. Oh, look at there's Texas Math Star problem review. What? So I'm going to talk while I do this. Create lesson. I'm going to hit create lesson. And then I'm going to click on full lesson. And then I'm going to type in what grade do you want this to be, Casey? 10th?
I don't think I said, yeah, a high school,
Let's go
definitely.
10th. Okay. So then I'm just going to type this in. Ready? Causes. I'm going to, and you can actually type in your standards. Causes of World War One, especially German imperialism and alliances between countries. Okay, so I type that in, and you're seeing my weakness right now. I'm a slow typer. All right, here we go. So then there's this button that says do magic. And now we're going to just chill for 45 seconds. And while we're doing that, Curipod is making us a slide deck based on the standards that I have typed in. Now, I can type in science standards. I just didn't want to look that much up. But with that little bit that I put in, watch what it's going to do now. Now, here's the trick to Curipod, and I feel there is a trick. It's going to replace the lecture with a model of 1, 2, 3, check for understanding. 1, 2, 3, check for understanding. 1, 2, 3, check for understanding. So now there's accountability. Now you can see that it made the slides here, Casey. So I'm going to click on add all 15 slides. Look at this. First of all, it made an original image of like this German looking soldier. And listen to the title it came up, Unraveling the Knot of Conflict, the Inception of World War One. Oh, that's pretty good. German imperialism and the entangled alliances of Europe. Did I type in entangled? I did not. I did not type that in. I just said alliances between countries. Okay. Now, every time you do a Curipod, it gives you this little disclaimer that says, hey, this is made with AI. Double check before you teach. I think that's safe. And then look what it did here, Casey. It actually reverse looked up the standard. So if you're a teacher who has a boss that says, I want you to post the standards, you can just send him your slides and go, here are the standards. You're there. All right. So here we go. Introduction to conflicts causes. So here's the powder keg of Europe, alliances, entanglements, and imperial ambitions. It's got one nice little paragraph on each that I can lecture my way through. The one thing I would advise people to do here, though, Casey, is these are just slides. I would add an image. That would be the one thing I would do. I would
Yeah, it's a
give
little
kids
text
an
heavy.
image for each one. But here's what's cool. The very next slide is a poll. What term is used to describe the state of tension? Powder keg, melting pot, pressure cooker, fuse box. And so kids immediately, I'm fact checking them on a real time basis. Now we bring up our next slide. which is Germany's quest for power, the alliances and tensions rise. Again, like you were saying, Casey, I might split this slide into 3 slides because it's a lot all at once. But would you agree the content's on point and it's not too long? So I can turn this into a lecture very easily. All right, next, more details about understanding the alliances. And we've got balance of power, fear and distrust, the domino effect. And then check it out. Here we go. Slide 5, another poll. And we just get right into this little rhythm here. And then here's one. Draw a political cartoon that illustrates Germany's late entry into the colonial race. Your cartoon should depict Germany's eagerness to compete, which they picked up on what I said, German imperialism, right? So look at the instructions. Sit together in pairs using one device. Use text or drawing visuals to show your thinking. And then what happens is we have a vote. And so in Curipod, when I hit present here, and is it still showing on my screen? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm, it is.
So what happens is I click this button, people can join the QR code. I can set the timer. It baseline's 3 minutes. I can set it for more or less. And here's what I love about this, Casey. The kids are now working in teams drawing, but they only get 3 minutes. Yeah, they only get 3 minutes. But here's what I love about it. At the end, it puts 2 of their drawings at once. And like when you go to the eye doctor, which one's better? You vote for one, vote for one, vote for one, vote for one. And when I end the voting, the kids actually get to see the top 5 responses based on their votes. So it's not just going into like the shoulder partner scenario, check with your shoulder partner. Not pretty, right?
Yeah.
And it's so great and it's so straightforward. And then I'm going to work my way through. And like I said, you're going to see text-based slide and then a poll. Were you listening? Ask a question. And then look at all these generators that they have in Curipod. There's ones called persuasive writing, convince the AI. That's a pretty good challenge. Infer the fictional character. Would you rather? And this one's a favorite for me in the social studies class. Look at this one right here. Feedback from a historical figure. So I was in a class once where it was a CTE class, okay? And what we did was we were learning about soft and hard skills. So I just went over to Curipod and I typed in, tell me about soft and hard skills in the workplace. It made me a slide deck. And then I added a generator that said, ask Steve Jobs, which is more important. Now the AI gave the kids feedback in Steve Jobs' voice. And then they had to answer the feedback. And then they had to do the compare thing. Which one's better? Which one's better? Amazing results. And what was my work time to build this? Like 40 seconds. And then look on this screen, Casey, look at the feedback. You can see which students did which tasks out of the whole class. Liz is going to get a talking to. Liz only did the first 2 tasks. Maybe she had to go to the bathroom. That's okay. But look at my grading.
This is just the free version. Let you see.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then lesson summary, most common understandings, most common misconceptions, action item. Bro, who grades papers? We have technology. So that's my zinger for you. Exactly 1 slide. And I can take care of your whole class, your whole year, just like that. And then here's my double ringer, Casey. You said a couple of those were text heavy, maybe a lot of content. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that Curipod Monday. I'm going to do it again Wednesday, and then I'm going to do it Friday. Boom. I'm going to make it hard, and we're going to hit it 3 times. It cuts my prep by 2/3. It cuts my grading by 2/3. And by the 3rd rep, the kids will really be on the ball. Because I'll say, don't do that drawing. You did that drawing yesterday.
I love it. Yeah, you had
waka.
Yep.
Really.
Yep. Stumping John is not working out for me.